You're watching TCTV News, your only source for news and entertainment on campus.
Welcome to TCTV. I'm Covey.
And I'm Natasha Brenneman. Let's turn it over to Trent, who's getting students' reactions on the ever-so-rising Obamacare concern.
I'm Trent Kiesling. Many Americans today know about Obamacare. It's a universal health care plan that covers the whole United States. We're going to see what opinions we have, either positive or negative, from some students here at Teal. I'm here with Sean Bio. Sean, what is your stance on Obamacare?
Well, Trent, I don't really agree with it. Whenever the government gets involved with any social programming, there's ramifications that we can't really foresee. So that's really the biggest issue right now. As it is, although obviously you can see improvement, but I don't think this is the answer. I think it's going to be a disaster, personally.
I'm here with Casey Rose. Casey, how do you feel about Obamacare?
I actually think that it's wrong that the penalty for not doing Obamacare costs less than the actual cost of Obamacare.
I'm here with Taylor Runzer. Taylor, do you know anything about Obamacare?
Honestly, the only thing I know about Obamacare is the fact that my birth control is now covered by my insurance and I don't have to pay for it each month.
As you can see, many people approve or disapprove of the idea of this policy, and some are still unsure of what it is. This is Trent Kiesling, TCTV News. Back to you guys at the desk.
Airlines are looking to introduce a new line of fees that might actually be liked by passengers. Getting extra legroom, boarding early, or access to lounge are just a few of some of the new services being offered for a small fee. Other services include rentals of iPads with preloaded movies. An empty seat next to them on the plane are also included in these fees. With these new upgrades, we offered to passengers at booking or in later instances such as following up emails or on their mobile phones minutes before check-in. After a plane crashed into a hangar on the runway, there were no survivors to tell what had happened. The plane suffered a mechanical issue that was not communicated with the pilot. This event took place Sunday and a number of people were killed was not known. The president and CEO of Morley Builders of Santa Monica, along with his son, were said to have been among the many that were killed. According to the airline, everything seemed normal. The plane was coming from Haley, Idaho. The Dallas County Sheriff Department has stepped up their game recently. They obtained their own bona fide military vehicle. They received this vehicle through a courtesy of a Department of Defense surplus program. The bulletproof vehicle was never used overseas and only has about 10,000 miles on it. The vehicle will be used to hunt down people with warrants against them, and the vehicle cost about $600,000, but the Sheriff's Department received it for only the cost of shipping. Dallas County was not the only place that acquired an Army vehicle. Murfreesboro, Tennessee was another police force included, along with Ohio State University.
Wedding bells are a rare sound to hear for someone convicted of murder. The marriage of Dan Despro happened just minutes after he was convicted of first-degree murder. Despro was given a 53 years to life sentence after killing Kevin Santos in 2003. At the time of the 2-month trial, Despro proposed to his girlfriend. They had met in high school and he disappeared after the birth of their child. They reunited after the mother of his child had tracked him down so he could meet his son. The couple were married by the same judge who convicted Despro, and she even baked a cake for them. A rare event has taken place in the world of childbirth. A woman in the United Kingdom gave birth to identical triplets. The triplets were delivered by C-section early morning on August 2nd. After the triplet girls spent 6 weeks in the intensive care unit, they were finally sent home. Altogether, they weighed less than 11 pounds at birth. The babies were born early, but did relatively well at birth. Being pregnant with multiples is a risky factor. The babies have a risk of suffering from twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, which is a condition in which blood transfers from one fetus to another. The couple refused to consider selective reduction and ended up with 3 healthy babies. What a miracle, Tosh.
I know, 3 babies, could you imagine?
Not at all.
5 hikers were killed in south-central Colorado by a rock slide on Monday. One was pulled out of the rock alive and was flown to a hospital. 100 pounds of boulders crashed down on the hikers, who appeared to be on a viewing area half-mile up a popular hiking area. The boulders slid down, leaving a football field-sized gash below Mount Princeton. The one survivor was a 13-year-old girl with a broken leg and other injuries.
I've always wanted to go hiking, but I'm not sure I do now.
3 Mexican immigrants are marching across the U.S. border with no papers in hand. They came to confront head-on immigration policies they consider unjust. The group is a part of a public protest to protest the dangers of journeys their parents took to get them to the U.S. Custom officials separated the protesters from regular civilians before they began the lengthy interviews to find out the process of their protest. The group included many minors and adults in their 20s. The group is fighting to be considered what is known as a DACA, which is a regulation made in 2012 giving deferred action to immigrants who were brought to the country illegally as children.
U.S. stocks closed lower on Monday right before the midnight deadline to avert a federal government shutdown. Losses were seen across the board and the decline increased with late-night trading. With the law funding thousands of routine government activities set to expire at midnight, the U.S. Senate had to kill the proposal made by the Republican-led House of Representatives to delay Obamacare funding. 2 daredevils dressed in all black were seen on a videotape floating in parachutes from a height of about 40 stories before landing on a street near the World Trade Center and disappearing into the night. Investigators watched the videos to try to identify the 2 parachutists. The 2 landed about 2 blocks away from each other along West Street. They walked away from the scene with no evidence left behind to give police an identifier. One of the people who called 911 said they saw a person walking away dragging a parachute, but have no video descriptions of the man. Now let's go over to Paul Connolly to hear the response that students have about the Kenya shooting.
On September 21st, 2013, a local mall in Nairobi, Kenya was attacked by a militant terrorist group known as the Al-Shabaab. Over 67 deaths were confirmed in the attack after 4 agonizing days. We're going around Teal campus to ask students and faculty how they are impacted and how they feel about the situation. Dr. Van Aken, I'm sure you are aware of the attacks that happened at the mall in Nairobi.
Sure.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's an outrage. Al-Qaeda, I think, has been pushed back to certain regions of the world, and so they're choosing to attack those regions. And I think an upscale mall in Kenya was their place of choice, because I think the unfortunate fact is that they often look for weaker areas to launch their terrorist attacks, because they know they will get national and international attention, and that's really what they're looking for, is to strike fear in the hearts and minds of people everywhere.
Josh, how do you feel about the attack in Kenya?
Well, I mean, stuff like that can happen anywhere in the world. Like, look at Kenya. I mean, obviously it's not as big as countries like here, but it can happen anywhere. You look what happened in Washington a couple weeks ago with our naval yards with that shooting. That can happen anywhere, so always gotta be prepared and just watch out.
I'm here with Kent Bachman, a freshman at Teal College. Kent, how do you feel about the Kenyan situation?
It's scary just knowing that people are able to do that.
Like, who knows, the one kid that sits alone at lunch comes in, or someone comes with a gun to school. Like, you never know.
Well, I think it should have an impact on us. Clearly, it doesn't have a direct impact in terms of, our lives weren't immediately impacted. But I think it should have an impact, because I think we should all care about society as a whole.
That wraps up our report about the Kenya shooting. Now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Paul. A man is growing a nose on his forehead, doctors in China say. They constructed an extra nose out of the man's rib cartilage and implanted it under the skin of his forehead. The doctors are preparing for a transplant that will most likely be the first of its kind. The doctors plan to cut the nose from the man's forehead while leaving a section of skin still connected, and then later positioning the graft in its appropriate place on the man's face. The patient was in an accident on August of 2012 that destroyed his face, but failed to have any reconstructive surgery to fix it. An infection later ate away parts of his nose cartilage, which is the reason he has no nose.
A forehead is a hard place for a nose.
Maybe he's got a bad habit of picking. Find out what the buzz is in entertainment after this break.
Hello, welcome to today's news. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Tyler.
Last Friday, the highly expected movie Captain Phillips made its coming out party at the opening night of New York's Film Festival. Tom Hanks plays Richard Phillips, the captain of a cargo ship famously taken by Somali pirates in 2009. Even though Captain Phillips is supposed to be a major contender in Hollywood's awards season and the enthusiastic reviews about Hanks' performance in the movie, Hanks says he had enough of playing real people in movies. Captain Phillips opens in theaters October 11th, so keep your eyes out for the highly expected documentary drama.
MC Lyte was honored Saturday for her career in hip-hop at the 8th Annual BET Awards. Once MC Lyte gathered herself, she thanked a host of people who helped her further her career. She also urged other female rappers to continue to shine and push the genre forward. Even though Drake won the People's Champ Award, Kendrick Lamar captivated attendees with his recorded 4-minute freestyle. It earned applause from the audience and others from Rick Ross and MC Lyte.
The soul legend Stevie Wonder closed the festival on the Isle of Wight this past weekend. Festival organizer Rob the Bank said, a winner of 25 Grammy Awards, the most ever for a solo artist, this is a very rare chance to see a legend in action. Wonder, who has been blind since the age of 11, started his singing career at the Motown Records in Chicago at the age of 11. He released a string of critically acclaimed albums in the 1970s, pioneering the use of synthesizers.
The animated Sony sequel, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, featuring the voices of Bill Hader and Anna Faris, opened in first place and earned $35 million in its debut weekend. The original was showered with $30.3 million during its opening weekend in 2009. The head of distribution for Sony Pictures, Rory Brewer, said, "It's remarkable that it did as well as it did and surpassed the first film." He also stated that the filmmakers really ratcheted it up in terms of palette and tone. He said, it's just one of those films that draw the audiences in.
The supplies is out, and you know there won't be more. Breaking Bad stands to leave their fans in major suspense. After 5 seasons of wickedness, Breaking Bad ended their successful run this past Sunday. Fans finally discovered the fate of the teacher turned drug lord who created havoc on everyone around him. The series was more than a TV series, it was a cultural moment. During its last season, the show logged record ratings, bagged the Best Drama Emmy, and even scored this week's cover of the New Yorker magazine.
Talk about looking fierce on the catwalk. Things got a little crazy at the Nina Ricci fashion show in Paris during Fashion Week. Model Holly Mae Saker claims to have punched a topless protester who stormed the runway as she was taking her turn on the runway. The protester-turned boxing bag was one of the 2 gutsy gals from Ukrainian feminist group Femin, who took the catwalk screaming and flaunting their half-naked bodies, covered with the slogans, "Model, don't go to brothel." Saker took to Twitter saying, "That ruined my walk and had her saggy tits in my face."
Aaron Paul, who stars on TV's hit show Breaking Bad, did a cameo for Saturday Night Live. He played his character, Jesse Pinkman, who was poking fun at Obamacare.
Jesse, can you come up here? Hey.
What's up? I have this friend, you know, and he got sick, like cancer sick. But because there wasn't Obamacare, he couldn't afford the treatments. So he was like backed into a corner, you know what I mean?
And keep in mind, this man was a teacher with a family.
He was. So he did what any of us would have done. He started cooking meth.
Okay. All right, now hold on.
And soon it wasn't just meth, it was murder, you know? And not regular murder, like he blew half a guy's face off.
Okay. I think we can probably wrap this up. Justin from New Mexico, everybody.
Wait.
Yeah, I thought that was actually kind of funny to see that.
Yeah, I think so.
They definitely made fun of Obama and made him look kind of dumb on
Okay, I agree.
Yeah. Total Divas stars Brie Bella and WWE superstar Daniel Bryan are engaged to be married. The couple have been together for almost 3 years now, and Daniel popped the question on Wednesday, September 25th, while they were on a hike in Big Sur, California. The former WWE champion is used to performing in front of sold-out crowds, but nothing could have prepared him for this big event. Brie stated, "I have never in my life seen him so nervous. I've been by him when he's gone out for WrestleMania and some really big things."
Marcella Hazan, the Italian-born cookbook author, died Sunday morning in her Florida home. She taught generations of Americans how to create simple, fresh Italian food. Marcella Pollini was born in 1924 in Cesanatico in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. She didn't intend to be a professional cooking teacher or author. Hayden was best known for her 6 cookbooks, which were written by her in Italian and translated into English by Victor, her husband. The recipes were traditional and tasty. Now here goes to the sports part with Natasha and Richard.
Hello everyone, I'm Richard Benj.
And I'm Natasha Brenneman. The Tomcat football team suffered a loss despite winning multiple statistical categories, including first down, the Tomcats with 19, W&J with 18. Time of possession, Tomcats with 35 minutes, 52 seconds, W&J with 24 minutes, 8 seconds. Total offensive yards, Tomcats 409, W&J with 321. And passing yards, Tomcats with 369 and W&J with 269. The Denver Broncos scored more points than ever before in their history on Sunday, blowing out the Eagles 52-20 behind Manning's 4 touchdown passes and 2 special team scores. Just another day in the life of Manning, whose 16 touchdown passes are the most in the first month of the season, besting the previous mark of 14 by Don Meredith in the 1966 and tied by Kurt Warner in 1999.
L.C. Greenwood, who helped the Pittsburgh Steelers win 4 Super Bowl titles in the 1970s and was a member of the famed Steel Curtain defensive line, died of natural causes Sunday at UPMC Presbyterian Hospital. He was 67. Greenwood is second on the Steelers' all-time sack list, made 4 Pro Bowls, and was a 2-time first-team All-Pro selection during her career that spanned from 1969 to 1981. He had 4 sacks in the Steelers' 21-17 win against the Cowboys in Super Bowl X. The Yale College women's tennis team hosted President's Athletic Conference at Chatham University Saturday for its breast cancer awareness match. The Tomcats won the match 8-1 in front of one of their largest crowds they have ever had. Sarah Matzik and Nicole Carlton clinched berths to the PAC championships on Saturday. They both did so with wins at number 3 and 4 singles. Tomcats are back in action on October 1st when they host Waynesburg University in a PAC showdown. The match is scheduled for a 3 p.m. start.
Now let's see what's going on in the sports world with Jennifer.
Hello, this is Jennifer Kaler outside the football offices. We had the opportunity to ask Coach Gilchrist a few questions about Saturday's game against W&J. Here's what he had to say.
W&J was, one, to be physical, 2, to be sound fundamentally, whether that was offense, defense, and special teams, and then also make plays when we had the opportunity to make plays. We did that a few times, but we didn't make as many plays as we should have, so that's one thing we had to get better. Okay, so at halftime, went down, spoke with the receivers, the quarterbacks, just let them know that as long as we stay the course, as long as we execute our initial game plan, being physical, making plays, that the second half will be more effective. In the second half, went out there, we did do those things, went back to the basics, made plays when we had the opportunity to make plays, had a couple guys with some big catches and some big runs. They stayed the course, they kept fighting. Unfortunately, the game didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. Differently going into the Waynesburg game, essentially it's still going to be kind of the same, just with some changes. We still got to be physical, we still got to be sound in all phases of the game. But right now, I think offensively we have some plays that we feel that we can take advantage of the coverages that they run and the defense that they play. I know defensively they have some stuff cooked up that they're going to do pretty well. We just got to make sure we execute and do the things that we got to do.
That's it from here. Now back to the desk.
We'll take a break, but we'll be right back with our live segment.
So I'm here with Till's head of the activities department, Than U. How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
That's good. So this is your first year at Till. Are you enjoying it?
I am. To give you some background, I went to Delhi College, which is in upstate New York, and it's a similar field to Teal. We were just a little bit bigger, but for grad school, I went to a school that was about 15,000, so I'm really happy to be able to come back to an intimate environment and kind of interact with some more students as I did.
That's good. That's good. So October, we're in October right now, and Halloween is coming up.
Right.
And being the leader of activities, do you have any special plans for us today? Or not today, but during October.
During October, yeah. Well, the activities calendar just got posted on Facebook and all around campus a couple of days ago. Just give you some highlights. Next Wednesday, October 9th, we are doing a hypnosis show. That's going to be really fun. It's going to be in the Passman Center, 9:30. I highly recommend everyone show up. The following Monday, we are bringing in the spirit of Halloween, John Zaffis, who some of you might know. He is the lead investigator on Sci-Fi Channel's Haunted Collector. He'll be putting on a performance in the LA Charge, a couple of interesting presentations, and he will be rounding up a group of 40 students and going around campus to investigate some buildings. A couple of events that we're organizing through TAB. We have the Minute to Win It game show, which is actually tonight, so hopefully whoever's watching this attended. And we're giving out some really good prizes. We have the trip to Cedar Point coming up on October 27th. Sign-ups will be announced soon, and we're trying to catch their Fright Fest or Fright Weekend festival that they have going on. Of course, the big events that are coming up are obviously Homecoming 2013. This year's theme is Proud of Our Past, Building for Our Future. We have a pep rally going on with fireworks. We're doing something interesting this year, which is a tug of war between the classes. So show up, do your class pride. What year are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
Are you going to be there?
I plan on it.
Okay, all right. And following the pep rally, we have a tent party, and it's going to be free food, music, fun. And we have beer for those who are over 21, but for anyone, it's going to be a really good time. And a couple other events for those of age. So we do have our annual Tomcat Prowl, and students who are 21 are invited to join, meet alumni, and just have a good time. And earlier during the week for Homecoming, we have the Alumni Student Network Reception, which is open to juniors and seniors, and it's an excellent opportunity for you to get to meet past Teal students and really network. Also on October 26th, we have Halloween on Main Street. We're working with the community to host this really fun event downtown Main Street. We have bands, vendors, inflatables, you name it. So it's going to be a really fun time. And movies this year, or this month I should say, just keep, again, with the spirit of Halloween, we have The Purge coming up next week, Kick-Ass 2, Despicable Me 2, and this movie everyone's been talking about, which I'm really excited to see, is The Conjuring. So that should be a blast. And if you guys haven't heard about pop-up events or surprise events, that can happen at any moment, and we have a couple of those planned this month. So make sure you keep an eye out, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, just so you know when it's happening.
Sounds like you've been a very busy individual.
Yeah, it's been fun. And another thing I like about Teal is the students I've been working with are phenomenal. You guys included. I just talked to the third wall. I hope that's okay. Fourth wall. But any other questions?
No, that seems about it. Seems like you have a lot going on for us in October, a lot going on for Halloween. Yep. And it seems like you're really enjoying yourself here at Teal. I do have one more question. Before Christmas break, Christmas is coming up, everyone's going to be in the holiday spirit. Do you have anything planned before students leave for Christmas break?
Well, we have our annual dome opener, and that is going to be huge. We have our family weekend, which we're trying to sort of buff up a little bit more. And I work on a month-to-month basis with my activities board because we feel like that's a much better way of going about activities. And so planning them so far in advance, we can really gauge student interest at a particular time and go from there. So just wait for the November calendar, and if anybody has any ideas they want for an event they want to host, just stop by my office. I'm actually working with 2 students who randomly just showed up and said, hey, we wanted to do this, and I'm working hand in hand with them to create their events. So again, if you guys want to do something, see something, please let me or any of my TAB directors know. The TAB office is located in the HMSC bottom floor, right next to the game room. So stop in. I have 6 really talented directors that will help you just get your event going.
All right, you heard it here first with the Tails Activities Director, Fan Ooh. Thank you, sir.
Now let's take a look at the weather with Kanan.
So the temperatures in Greenville, right now it's about 78 degrees with a dew point of 64 degrees. Humidity is about 62%. The barometer is about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and the winds are about 7 miles an hour, and the heat index is about 80 degrees. So as you can see, it's pretty warm around the East Coast. On the West Coast, it's kind of cooler. And around the Pennsylvania area, it's about 76 degrees. So as you can see, it's pretty dry around the Youngstown area, Cleveland area, and the Akron area. No signs of rain at all. Franklin area is pretty dry as well. And these are your high temperatures for today. And around Cleveland, it's about 78 degrees. Youngstown, 78 degrees. Pittsburgh's going to be a nice 77 degrees. Detroit, about a nice 78 degrees. And Toledo, about a nice 78 degrees. Going to be a hot one. Your low temperatures for tonight: Cleveland 63 degrees and Pittsburgh 57 degrees. You have Bradford with about 56 degrees and Toledo with a nice 62 degrees. It's going to be a nice cool night for you guys. All right, in your 7-day forecast, you have Thursday 79 degrees with a slight chance of rain. Friday 80 degrees with a really slim chance of rain. And throughout the weekend, it's going to be pretty rainy, so bring out your umbrellas. And it's not going to clear up until about Wednesday when it's about 66 degrees. And that's your 7-day forecast.
Grayson Clamp was born without the ability to hear. Now, after a long-awaited recovery, the boy can finally hear the sound of his own parents' voices.
Grayson was born without the auditory nerves that carry sound from the inner ear to the brain. Initially, he was fitted with a cochlear implant, but without nerves, it was ineffective. Bird. That's when doctors at the University of North Carolina School of Medicine gave him this. It's an auditory brainstem implant. The device is typically used in adults whose nerves have been damaged and hadn't yet been approved for use in children. But that changed thanks to an FDA-approved trial, and Grayson became the first child in the country to undergo the procedure.
We don't really know exactly what it's like for him. We don't know exactly what he hears, if he hears everything we hear, some of what we hear.
Doctors are confident Grayson will eventually hear and speak like any other child. His parents say he's already made great progress, although they won't soon forget what that first moment was like.
Daddy. What an adorable little boy.
I know, what a heartwarming story.
It would be truly terrible to never hear a single thing. I'm glad that science came through for him.
Me too.
That's all the time we have for you today, TCTV. Thanks for watching. I'm Anna Kovenchek.
And I'm Natasha Brenneman. Tune in next week for more.
You've been watching TCTV News, your only source for news and entertainment on campus.